Who did this to you?" The words cut through the freezing Las Vegas night like a blade. Cole Mason wasn't asking for information. He was making a promise, the kind of promise that starts wars. A 19-year-old girl, alone, bleeding, barely breathing on frozen concrete outside his clubhouse on Four Master Lane. And the only person who stopped was a Hell's Angel. Nobody expected what he did next. Not the cops, not the city, not even his own brothers. Because what started as one man kneeling beside a stranger in the cold, ended with a 6-year criminal empire crumbling to the ground. This is Sara's story, and it will hit you somewhere you didn't expect. The temperature had dropped to 28 degrees. Cole Mason stepped out of the clubhouse at 11:47 that night. Leather jacket zipped tight, breath-forming clouds in the desert air that had turned vicious after sunset. He was reaching for his Harley keys when he heard it, a sound that didn't belong. Not the usual sounds of Four Master Lane, no engines, no distant sirens. No Friday night chaos bleeding over from the strip. This was something else, a whimper, soft, broken, almost swallowed by the wind. Cole stopped moving. His brothers inside were still laughing, still drinking, still living in the warm glow of the wood stove, the kind of camaraderie that made the outside world feel distant. But Cole had always paid attention to sounds that didn't fit. In his world, the wrong sound at the wrong time could mean the difference between walking away and not walking at all. He turned slowly, scanned the parking lot. Nothing, just his bike, Hank's truck, the chain-link fence separating the clubhouse from the empty lot next door. Then he saw her. A heap of fabric against the fence, dark hoodie, torn jeans, sneakers that had given up weeks ago. For a split second, Cole thought it was trash, someone's discarded sleeping bag, another piece of the city's forgotten landscape. Then the heap moved. "Jesus!" Cole muttered. He crossed the lot in 6 strides, boots crunching on gravel. When he got close enough, the streetlight caught her face. A girl, blonde hair matted and dirty, skin pale as paper, eyes closed, lips tinged blue. 19, maybe 20. Hard to tell under the grime and the cold. But what made Cole's blood turn to ice wasn't her age. It was the bruises. A purple-black bloom across her left cheekbone, another on her jaw. Her bottom lip split and scabbed, and when the wind shifted her hoodie sleeve, he saw more. Dark finger-shaped marks circling her wrist like a bracelet of violence. Cole dropped to one knee beside her. "Hey," he said, voice low, steady. "Hey, you with me?" No response. He pressed 2 fingers to her neck, feeling for a pulse. Faint. Too faint. Damn it! Cole pulled his phone out. But before he could dial, her eyes fluttered open. Blue, terrified, distant. She looked at him like she was trying to decide if he was real or just another nightmare. "You're okay," Cole said quietly. "I'm not going to hurt you." Her lips moved. No sound came out. "Can you hear me?" She nodded. Barely. "What's your name?" Her voice came out as a rasp, so faint he had to lean closer. "Sara." "All right, Sara. I'm Cole. You're going to be okay, but I need to get you inside. It's too cold out here." She tried to shake her head, panic flashing across her face. "No," she whispered. "No, he'll find me." Cole froze. "Who will find you?" Her eyes filled with tears. "He always finds me." Cole felt something shift in his chest, something old and buried. Something he had spent years keeping locked down. He kept his voice calm. "Not tonight. He won't. Come on." He slid one arm under her shoulders, the other under her knees, and lifted her like she weighed nothing. She didn't resist, didn't fight, just went limp in his arms, like someone who had been thrown around too many times and had nothing left to fight with. Cole kicked the clubhouse door open. The laughter inside died instantly. 8 men turned to stare. Hank Duero was on his feet in a heartbeat. "The hell, Cole?" "Get Doc," Cole said flatly. Now, Hank didn't ask questions. He bolted for the back room. Cole carried Sara to the worn leather couch near the wood stove and set her down carefully. Someone handed him a blanket. He draped it over her, tucking it around her shoulders. Her eyes were still open, still watching him, like she was afraid he might vanish. "You're safe," Cole said. "No one's going to touch you here." Cole, that was Rex Calloway, club president, standing in the doorway with his arms crossed, 55 years old, grey beard, eyes that had seen too much. "What's going on?" "Found her outside," Cole said without looking up. "She's hurt, cold, needs a hospital. She got a name, Sara." Rex studied the girl for a long moment, then nodded slowly. "Doc's on his way. Ambulance?" "Yeah." "You know her?" "No." "Then why?" Cole looked up then, eyes hard. "Because she's 19 and someone beat the hell out of her." That enough?" Rex held up a hand. "Easy, brother. Just asking." Doc Briggs arrived 30 seconds later. Grizzled ex-army medic, 20 years patching up the club. He took one look at Sara and swore under his breath, "Get me water, clean towels, first aid kit." The room moved like a machine. Doc knelt beside the couch, checked her pulse, her pupils, her breathing, hands steady, professional. "She's hypothermic," he said. "Dehydrated, malnourished." He peeled back the blanket slightly, checking her arms, her ribs. When he saw the bruises on her wrists, his jaw tightened. "These are defensive wounds," he said quietly. "She's been fighting back." Cole said nothing. Doc wrapped her in another blanket, elevated her feet, checked her temperature. 94 degrees, he muttered. "Not critical yet, but close." "Ambulance is on the way," Rex confirmed. Sara's eyes found Cole again. "Don't!" Her voice cracked. "Don't let them take me back." Cole crouched beside her. "Take you back where?" She swallowed hard, tears spilling down her cheeks. "The street! He owns the street! Who does?" She closed her eyes, shaking her head. "Sara," Cole said gently. "Who did this to you?" For a moment, nothing. Then, in a voice so small it almost disappeared, "Victor Hale." The name landed like a stone in the room. "Before we go any further, if stories like this matter to you, stories about ordinary people who choose to do the right thing when everyone else looks away, hit that subscribe button right now. Stay with me until the very end, because what happens next will restore your faith in humanity. And drop a comment. Tell me what city you're watching from. I want to see how far Sara's story travels. Hank looked at Rex. Rex looked at Cole. Cole didn't look away from Sara. Who is Victor Hale? She swallowed. He controls everything, everyone on the street. If you don't pay him, he hurts you. And if you run, her voice broke, he makes sure you don't run again. Cole felt his hands curl into fists. How long? 6 months, maybe more. I don't remember anymore. Where are your parents? Dead. The word came out flat. Empty. Car accident 2 years ago. Foster system didn't work out. I aged out, ended up here. And Hale found you. She nodded. He finds everyone. The ambulance arrived 12 minutes later. 2 paramedics, moving with efficient urgency. They checked Sara's vitals, asked questions, loaded her onto a stretcher. Cole walked beside her all the way to the ambulance. "Wait!" Sara grabbed his wrist, surprising strength for someone so broken. "Don't leave." "I'm not leaving," Cole said. "Promise?" "Promise." The paramedic gave Cole a look. "You family? No, then you can't ride with." "I'll follow." Cole interrupted. "Which hospital?" "University Medical Center." Cole nodded. "I'll be right behind you." Sara's grip loosened, but her eyes stayed locked on his. "He'll come for me," she whispered. "When he finds out I talked, he'll come." Cole leaned close, voice low and hard. "Let him." University Medical Center smelled like antiseptic and burnt coffee. Cole sat in the ER waiting room for 2 hours, ignoring the suspicious looks from the nurse at the desk. His leather cut, the vest that marked him as a Hell's Angel, wasn't exactly welcome in most places. But Cole didn't care. He'd made a promise. At 2:15 in the morning, a doctor finally appeared. Young guy, maybe 30. Tired eyes behind wireframe glasses. "You're here for Sara Reeves?" Cole stood. "Yeah. How is she?" "Stable. We've got her on an IV, warming her up slowly. She's severely malnourished. Probably hasn't had a decent meal in weeks. The hypothermia was close to dangerous, but we caught it in time." He paused. "The bruises." His expression darkened, consistent with repeated physical trauma. "Some are weeks old. Some are fresh. We've documented everything and contacted social services." "She tell you anything?" "Not much. She's scared. Keeps asking if someone named Hale knows she's here." Cole's jaw tightened. "Can I see her?" The doctor hesitated. "Are you family?" "No. But I'm the one who found her, and I'm the one she trusts right now." The doctor studied him for a long moment, then sighed. "Room 14, 10 minutes." Sara looked smaller in the hospital bed, the IV drip in her arm, the heated blankets piled on top of her, the monitors beeping softly in the corner. But her eyes were open, and when Cole stepped into the room, she didn't flinch. "You came," she said quietly. "Told you I would." Cole pulled a chair close and sat down. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Sara said, "You didn't have to do this." "Yeah," Cole said, "I did." "Why?" "Because no one else was." Her eyes filled with tears. But this time she didn't look away. "They're going to send me back," she whispered. "Social services. And when I run again, Hale will be waiting." "Not if he's in a cell." Sara laughed. Bitter. "Hollow. You don't know him. He's untouchable. The cops don't care. The people on the street are too scared to talk. And the ones who do," she trailed off, staring at the ceiling, "they don't last long." Cole leaned forward, elbows on his knees. "Tell me everything. Why? What are you going to do?" "Whatever it takes." Sara looked at him for a long time, searching his face for something. Truth, maybe. Or hope. Or just proof that he wasn't like everyone else who'd made promises and disappeared. Finally, she spoke. "Victor Hale isn't just some guy. He's organized. He's got people everywhere. Guys who collect for him. Guys who watch. He runs protection rackets on the homeless. Takes money, food, whatever they can scrape together. And if you don't pay..." She stopped. "He makes an example." "Yeah," her voice dropped. "I saw him beat a man once. Over $20. Right there in the alley behind the old parking structure on Industrial Road. No one stopped him. No one called the cops. Because everyone knows if you cross Victor Hale, you're done. How'd you end up on his radar?" "I didn't pay." Sara said it simply. "I thought if I just stayed quiet, stayed invisible, he'd leave me alone. But he doesn't leave anyone alone." She touched her cheek, where the bruise had turned greenish-yellow. "He came to me 3 weeks ago, said I owed him. I told him I didn't have anything. So she paused. He said this was a warning. Next time would be worse. So you ran. I tried. But you can't really run when you've got nowhere to go. I've been sleeping in different spots every night, trying to stay ahead of him. But he's got guys looking." She closed her eyes. "And last night, I just couldn't anymore. I was so cold, so tired. I thought maybe if I just stopped." Cole felt something crack inside him. "You were going to let yourself freeze." Sara didn't answer. She didn't have to. Cole stood abruptly, pacing to the window. Outside, Las Vegas stretched out in a grid of lights and shadows. The Strip blazing in the distance like nothing in the world was wrong. "This Victor Hale," Cole said, voice tight. "Where does he operate?" "Everywhere. Downtown, the shelters, the camps under the overpasses. He's got runners who collect for him. A guy named Danny Briggs is one of his main enforcers. Mean, likes hurting people."
"Where do I find him?"
Sara sat up, panic flashing across her face. "No, don't. You don't understand. He's not alone. He's got guys. Guys with guns. If you go after him, they'll kill you." Cole turned to face her. "I'm not going after him." "Then what?" "I'm going to end him." The certainty in his voice made Sara fall silent. For the first time in months, she felt something she'd almost forgotten. Hope. Cole spent 2 days asking the right questions to the right people. A bartender on East Fremont Street. A pawn shop owner who knew everyone's business. And a homeless veteran named Earl, who'd been sleeping under the overpass at North Las Vegas Boulevard for 3 years. Earl was the one who gave Cole what he needed. "Danny comes around every Thursday," Earl said. Hands wrapped around the hot coffee Cole had bought him. "Collects from everyone in the camp. You don't have it, you better have a good reason. Last month, he broke a kid's arm, over $15. Where does he go after he collects?" "Pete's bar, always Pete's. Drinks until he can't stand, then stumbles out around midnight." Cole handed Earl 2 $20 bills. "You didn't see me." Earl pocketed the money without a word. Thursday night. Cole sat in his truck across from Pete's bar at 11:30. Hank Duero beside him, silent and watchful. "You sure about this?" Hank asked. "No," Cole said, "but we're doing it anyway." At 11:47, a man stumbled out of the bar. Tall, heavy build, shaved head, wearing a stained jacket that had seen better years. He weaved toward a beat-up Honda Civic, parked 3 spaces down. "That's him," Cole said. They waited until Danny got in his car, fumbled with his keys. Then Cole was out of the truck and at Danny's window before the engine turned over. He rapped on the glass with his knuckles. Danny jumped, squinting through the window. When he saw Cole's face, his hand went to his waistband. Cole already had his gun out. "Don't," Cole said quietly. "Step out of the car. Who the hell are you?" "Someone who wants to talk." "Get out!" Danny's eyes darted to the bar entrance. "Calculating. No one's coming to help you," Hank said from behind Cole. "So stop thinking and start moving." Danny opened the door slowly, hands visible. Cole stepped back, keeping the gun low and out of sight from the street. "Turn around, hands on the car." "You're making a mistake," Danny said. But he complied. Hank patted him down, pulled a switchblade from his pocket, a small revolver from his waistband. "For someone who just wants to talk," Hank muttered. "You're real prepared." They walked Danny to Cole's truck, put him in the back seat. Hank climbed in beside him. Cole drove. Where are we going? Danny asked. Voice tight. Somewhere quiet. 10 minutes later, an empty lot near the rail yard on North Las Vegas. Nothing but gravel and rusted shipping containers. Cole cut the engine. Hank hauled Danny out of the truck, shoved him against the side. You know who I am? Cole asked. No, then you don't know what I'm capable of. Danny tried to laugh. You're going to threaten me. I've been threatened by worse. I'm not threatening you, Cole said. I'm offering you a choice. That got Danny's attention. What choice? You work for Victor Hale. Danny's face went pale. I don't know who. Hank slammed him against the truck. Don't insult us.
All right.
Yeah, I work for him. So what? So you're going to tell me everything about his operation, Cole said. Or I'm going to make sure Hale knows you've been talking, whether you have or not. Danny's eyes widened. You can't do that. He'll kill me. Then I guess you better start talking. Danny looked between Cole and Hank, breathing hard. You don't understand. Hale doesn't just kill people. He makes it last. I've seen what he does to people who betray him. Then don't betray him, Cole said. Help us put him away, legally, and he'll never know it was you. Legally? Danny laughed, bitter. You think the cops care? Half of them are in his pocket. The other half don't want the paperwork. I'm not talking about local cops. Danny went quiet. What are you talking about? Federal, Cole said. You give me enough evidence, enough names, enough transactions, and I'll make sure it goes to people Hale can't touch. You're bluffing. Try me. Danny stared at Cole for a long moment. Then his shoulders sagged. What do you want to know? Over the next hour, Danny talked. He talked about how Hale had been running his operation for 6 years. How he'd started small, just collecting from a few homeless camps, but had grown into something bigger. How he had runners in every major area of downtown Las Vegas. How he kept records of everything, paranoid about people skimming off the top. He's got a ledger, Danny said. Keeps it at his place. Names, amounts, dates, everything. Where's his place? Apartment on Fremont Street. 3rd floor. He's there most nights. How many guys does he have? 6, maybe 7 who work regular. But he's got others he calls when he needs muscle. And you? Danny looked at the ground. I'm just trying to survive, man. I owed him money 2 years ago. Couldn't pay, so now I work it off. That's how he gets most of us. We're all just trying to stay alive. Cole felt something shift in his understanding. You're scared of him. Everyone's scared of him. Then help me stop him. Danny shook his head. You don't stop guys like Hale. You just try not to get noticed. That's what Sara thought too. Danny looked up sharply. Sara Reeves, the girl, you know her? Yeah, Hale's been looking for her for weeks. She ran after he. Danny trailed off. Is she okay? She's alive. Barely. Danny closed his eyes. He's going to kill her when he finds her. Not if I find him first. Danny studied Cole's face, looking for something. You're serious about this? Dead serious. A long silence. Then Danny said, All right, I'll help you. But I want protection. When this goes down, I'm not sticking around to see what happens. Deal. They drove Danny back to his car. Before he got out, Cole handed him a burner phone. You remember anything else, you call this number. Don't use your regular phone. Don't tell anyone we talked. Danny pocketed the phone. What if Hale comes asking questions? Tell him the truth. You got drunk, blacked out, woke up at home. You don't remember anything. And if he doesn't believe me, Then you run fast. Danny got out of the truck, paused. Why are you doing this? Really? Cole met his eyes. Because someone has to. The next morning, Cole went back to the hospital. Sara was sitting up in bed eating applesauce from a plastic cup. Color had returned to her face. The bruises were still there, but the fear in her eyes had dimmed slightly. "Hey," Cole said from the doorway. Sara's face lit up. "You came back. Told you I would." He pulled the chair close and sat down. "How you feeling?" "Weird," Sara said. "I keep thinking I'm going to wake up and be back out there. But then I remember, this is real." "It's real." She set the applesauce down. "The social worker came by this morning. She wants to place me in a group home." "You okay with that?" "I don't know. I've been in group homes before. They're not great, but they're better than the street." She looked at Cole carefully. "Did you find anything about Hale?" "Yeah. I talked to one of his guys." Sarah's eyes went wide. "Who?" "Danny Briggs." Her face went white. "Cole, no. Danny's dangerous. If Hale finds out you talked to him, he won't." "Danny's scared too." "He's helping us." "Helping how?" "Oh, he's giving me information. Everything Hale's been doing. Where he operates. How he keeps records." Sara shook her head. "That's not enough. You need proof. Real proof." "I know. That's why I need you to trust me." She looked at him for a long moment. "I want to. But everyone I've ever trusted has let me down." "I'm not everyone." "How do I know that?" "Because I'm still here." Sara's eyes filled with tears. "Why do you even care? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything." Cole was quiet for a long moment. "I had a sister once," he said. "Emma. She was 19 when she ended up on the streets. Our dad was a drunk, mean when he drank. Emma couldn't take it anymore, so she left." Sara stopped breathing. "I was 21, already in the club. Thought I was tough. Thought I had all the answers." Cole's voice went flat. "I told her she was being dramatic. Told her to deal with it. She left anyway. Ended up on the streets in Tucson. I didn't hear from her for 6 months." Sara's eyes filled with tears. "Then one day a cop showed up at the clubhouse. They found her body in an alley. Someone had beaten her to death over nothing. A backpack. Some loose cash. Nothing. The room was very still. They never caught who did it. Case went cold. And I spent the next 15 years wondering if things would have been different. If I'd just listened. If I'd just helped instead of judging." Cole looked at Sara directly. "So when I saw you out there in the cold, bruised and scared and alone, I saw Emma. And I decided right then that I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice." Sara wiped her eyes. Didn't say anything for a long moment. "I'm not your sister," she said quietly. "No," Cole said. "But maybe I can do for you what I couldn't do for her." They sat in silence for a while. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "What happens after you go after Hale? What happens to me? You get to live your life without looking over your shoulder. And if you can't stop him?" Cole reached out, squeezed her hand gently. "I'm not going to let that happen." Sara wanted to believe him. She could see it in his eyes, the determination that didn't waver. "There's something you should know," she said after a moment. "About Hale." "What?" "He's got someone on the inside, a cop. I don't know his name, but I've seen them together. Hale pays him to look the other way." Cole's jaw tightened. "You sure?" "Positive. I saw them at a diner once. The cop was in uniform. They were talking like they knew each other real well. Can you describe him?" Sara closed her eyes, thinking. Older, maybe 50. Grey hair, scar on his chin, drives a silver sedan. Cole filed that away. Anything else? Yeah. Sara's voice dropped. Hale doesn't just run protection rackets. He's got other things going too. Drugs. Stolen goods. There's a warehouse on Industrial Road where he stores everything. Cole stood, pacing the small room. This is bigger than I thought. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Sara said. Hale isn't just some thug. He's built an empire, and empires don't fall easy. Cole turned to face her. They do, he said quietly. If you pull out the right foundation. That night, Danny called. Cole answered on the second ring. What do you have? More than you want to know, Danny said, voice shaking. Hale is moving a shipment tomorrow night. Stolen electronics, high-end stuff. He's meeting a buyer at the warehouse on Industrial Road. What time? Midnight. Who else is going to be there? Hale, the buyer. Maybe 3 other guys, me included. Can you get me inside? Danny was quiet for a long moment. There's a side entrance. Loading dock. I can leave it unlocked. Do it, Cole. Danny's voice cracked. If he catches you, he won't. You keep saying that. Because it's true. A long exhale. I hope you're right. So do I. The next day, Cole sat in the clubhouse with Rex and Hank. The wood stove crackled. Coffee steamed in 3 chipped mugs. You're serious about this, Rex said. It wasn't a question. Dead serious. Cole, we're not a charity. And we're sure as hell not vigilantes. I'm not asking the club to get involved, Cole said. I'm asking for backup. If things go sideways, I need someone outside ready to move. Hank leaned back in his chair. You're talking about walking into a warehouse full of criminals and hoping you don't get shot. That's about the size of it. And you think this is a good idea? I think it's the only idea. Rex rubbed his temples. Jake, Cole, I'm going to say this one more time. You don't have to do this. We can find another way. There is no other way. Hale has been operating for years, because no one's been willing to take the risk. Someone has to be first. And that someone's you. Yeah, Rex stared at him for a long moment, then sighed. All right, you want backup? You've got it. But you take Hank with you, and you wear a wire. If this is going federal, we need clean evidence. Agreed. And Cole? Rex's voice hardened. If you die doing this, I'm going to kill you. Cole grinned. Fair enough. Hank drained his coffee. So, where do we start? Cole pulled out a small notebook, flipped to a page where he'd scribbled notes from his conversation with Danny. We start at the warehouse. At 11:30 that night, Cole and Hank sat in the truck 2 blocks from the warehouse on Industrial Road. Cole wore a small camera clipped to his jacket, hidden under the leather, a microphone wired to a recorder in his pocket. Ready? Hank asked. No, Cole said, but let's do it anyway. They approached the warehouse on foot, staying in the shadows. The building was exactly what Sara had described. Old industrial windows covered with grime and bars. Loading dock on the south side. Cole found the side entrance. The door was unlocked, just like Danny promised. I'm going in, Cole whispered into the mic. Stay close, Hank nodded. Disappeared into the darkness around the perimeter. Cole slipped inside. The warehouse was massive. Metal shelves stacked high with boxes. Pallets of electronics wrapped in plastic. Forklifts parked near the far wall. And voices. Cole moved quietly, sticking to the shadows between the shelves. 50 feet ahead, light spilled from a glass-walled office. Figures moving inside. He edged closer, Through the grimy office window, he saw them. Victor Hale was exactly what Cole expected. Mid-40s, lean and wiry, face like a knife, eyes that didn't blink. The kind of man who'd learned a long time ago that fear was currency, and had been spending it ever since. Beside him stood a man in an expensive suit. The buyer. Behind them, 3 guys who looked like they'd been hired specifically for their ability to hurt people. And Danny, standing off to the side, looking like he wanted to disappear through the floor. Cole raised the camera, started recording. "So we're clear on the price," the buyer said. "50,000 for the lot." "50," Hale said. "And that's a discount." "52," Hale smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. "50, or you walk and I find someone else." The buyer hesitated, then nodded. "Fine. Good." Danny started loading the truck, moving toward the door. Cole ducked behind a stack of pallets. As Danny passed, he saw Cole. Their eyes met for a split second. Danny's face went pale. Then he looked away and kept walking. Cole exhaled slowly. Hale and the buyer shook hands. Money changed hands. A thick envelope of cash. Cole got it all on camera. Then Hale said something that made Cole's blood freeze. "Before you go, there's something you should know. We had a little problem last week." "What kind of problem?" "A girl, homeless. She's been running her mouth, talking to people she shouldn't be talking to." The buyer shrugged. "So handle it." "Oh, I will," Hale said. "But I wanted to make sure you knew, in case anyone comes asking questions." "What's her name?" "Sara Reeves." Cole's grip tightened on the camera. "Where is she now?" the buyer asked. "Hospital. But not for long. I've got someone keeping an eye on her. The second she's released, we'll take care of it." Cole felt rage flood through him. He wanted to storm into that office right now. Wanted to put Hale through the wall. But he forced himself to stay still, to keep recording. Because if he moved now, everything would fall apart. The buyer left 10 minutes later. Hale stayed behind, making calls, checking inventory. Cole waited until Hale was distracted, then started backing away toward the exit. He was almost to the loading dock when his boot caught on something. A loose piece of metal on the concrete floor. It clattered across the warehouse like a gunshot. The sound echoed through every corner of the building. Hale's head snapped up. "Who's there?" Cole ran. "Behind him," Hale shouted. "Stop him!" Cole burst through the loading dock door. Hank was already running toward the truck. They were inside and moving before Hale's guys made it outside. "Drive!" Cole yelled. Hank floored it. In the rearview mirror, Cole saw 2 men standing in the parking lot, watching them disappear into the night. "They see your face?" Hank asked. "Don't know. Maybe. Then we're burned. Maybe. Or maybe they just saw shadows." Hank glanced at him. "You get what you needed?" Cole patted the camera. "Yeah, everything." Then he thought about what Hale had said. About Sara. About someone watching her. "We need to get to the hospital," Cole said. "Now." They made it to University Medical Center in 15 minutes. Cole didn't bother parking legally. He left the truck in front of the ER entrance and ran inside. The nurse at the desk looked up. "Sir, you can't." "Sara Reeves." "What room?" "I can't give out that." Cole leaned over the desk. "What room?" The nurse's eyes widened. 14. But Cole was already running. He hit the door to room 14 hard enough to make it slam against the wall. Sara jerked upright in bed, eyes wide. "Cole, what?" "You need to leave. Now." "What are you talking about?" "Hale knows you're here. He's got someone watching. We need to move you before they make a play." Sara's face went white. "How do you know?" "I heard him say it tonight." At the warehouse, Sara started shaking. "Oh God, he's coming." "No one's coming," Cole said firmly, "because we're leaving right now." He pulled the IV from her arm, ignoring her wince of pain. "Can you walk?" "I think so." "Then let's go." Cole wrapped her in a blanket, helped her out of bed. They were halfway to the door when it opened. A man stepped inside, tall, muscular, dead eyes. He looked at Cole, then at Sara. Then he reached into his jacket. Cole didn't think. He shoved Sara behind him and charged. Now, this is the moment everything changed. Not just for Cole, for Sara. Because what happened next, Sara didn't just watch. For the first time since Victor Hale had turned her world into a nightmare, Sara Reeves made a choice. Cole hit the man like a freight train. They crashed into the hallway wall hard enough to crack the plaster. The man's gun clattered across the linoleum floor, skittering under a medical cart. Cole drove his elbow into the man's ribs, felt something give. The man grunted, brought his knee up into Cole's stomach. Air exploded from Cole's lungs. The man shoved Cole off, scrambled for the gun. He was almost there. Then Sara moved. She didn't freeze, didn't scream, didn't wait to be saved. She grabbed the medical cart with both hands and shoved it hard across the floor. It slammed into the man's outstretched arm just as his fingers touched the gun. The weapon spun away, out of reach. The man looked up at her, stunned. Sara looked back at him, jaw set, eyes steady. "Not today," she said. Cole was on the man in a second, forearm across his throat. "Who sent you?" The man struggled, couldn't move. "Who sent you?" "Hale," he choked out. "Hale sent me." "To do what?" "Take the girl, that's all. Just take her." "Take her where?" "The warehouse." He didn't say anything else. "Just bring her." Cole heard running footsteps. Security. Nurses. He slammed the man's head against the floor, once, hard enough to knock him unconscious, then stood and ran back to Sara. She was still standing in the hallway, breathing hard, but not shaking anymore. Cole looked at her. Something was different in her eyes, something that hadn't been there before. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," Sara said. And she meant it. "Let's go." Two security guards were running toward them from the left. Cole went right. Sara beside him, stumbling in her hospital gown and bare feet, but keeping pace. "Stop!" one of the guards yelled. Cole didn't stop. They hit the stairwell door at full speed. Took the stairs 3 at a time. Sara breathing hard, pushing through it. "I can't." "Yes, you can," Cole said. "Just a little further." They burst out into the parking lot. Hank had the truck running, passenger door open. Cole practically lifted Sara inside, then jumped in after her. "Drive!" Hank peeled out, tires screaming. In the side mirror, Cole saw security guards spilling out of the hospital entrance, shouting into radios. "What the hell happened?" Hank demanded. "Hale sent someone. Tried to grab her right out of her room." Hank swore. "He moves fast. Too fast. Someone tipped him off she was there." Sara was pressed against the seat, arms wrapped around herself, but her breathing was steadying. "He's never going to stop," she whispered. "Yes, he will," Cole said. "Because we're about to make him." "How?" "You can't fight him." "I'm not fighting him," Cole said. "I'm dismantling him. Everything he's built, every connection he has, every dollar he's made. By the time I'm done, there won't be anything left." Sara stared at him. "You really believe that?" "I have to." Hank glanced in the rearview mirror. Where to? The clubhouse. It's the only place Hale won't hit directly. You sure about that? No, but it's the best option we have. They drove through Las Vegas in tense silence. Every pair of headlights behind them made Cole's hand move toward his gun. Every shadow looked like a threat. But they made it to the clubhouse without incident. Rex was waiting at the door when they pulled up. I heard, he said, as Cole helped Sara out of the truck. Whole hospitals talking about some lunatic who assaulted a man and walked out with a patient. They got it backwards, Cole said. The lunatic was trying to kidnap her. I just stopped him. Rex looked at Sara, taking in the hospital gown, the bare feet, the look in her eyes that was somehow steadier than it had any right to be. Inside, he said. Now, they got Sara settled in one of the back rooms. Someone found her real clothes. Someone else brought food. Cole sat with her while she ate, silent and watchful. You did good back there, Cole said finally. Sara looked up. I just pushed a cart. You pushed it at exactly the right moment. Cole met her eyes. That wasn't nothing, Sara. She was quiet for a moment. I was so tired of being scared, she said. I didn't want to be scared anymore. Cole nodded slowly. That's how it starts. Outside the room, Rex pulled Cole aside. We got a problem, Rex said. What now? Danny called. Says Hale is putting the word out. $20,000 to anyone who delivers you or the girl, dead or alive. Cole felt his jaw tighten. He's escalating. More than that, he's making it personal. Danny says Hale is talking like he knows it was you at the warehouse. How? Could be he recognized you. Could be someone saw your truck. What else did Danny say? Hale is moving his operation, clearing out the warehouse, wiping everything clean. Rex looked at Cole. Whatever you got tonight, that might be all we're going to get. Cole pulled out the camera, checked the footage. It was all there. Hale, the buyer, the transaction, the conversation about Sara. This should be enough, Cole said. For what? You going to take it to the cops? The ones Hale has in his pocket? No, Cole said. I'm going higher. Rex blinked. How much higher? Cole looked at him. Federal. Cole spent the rest of the night making calls. First to an old friend from the army who'd gone into federal law enforcement. Then to that friend's supervisor. Then to someone in the Las Vegas FBI field office. By 6 in the morning, Cole had a meeting scheduled. They want to see the evidence, Cole told Hank over coffee in the clubhouse kitchen. Today, noon. They going to move on it? They said they would. Cole shrugged. Whether they actually will, we'll see. Hank raised an eyebrow. And if they don't? Cole looked at him. Then we do this the hard way. What's the hard way? A long pause. I haven't figured that out yet. At 11:30 that morning, Cole sat in a nondescript office building in downtown Las Vegas, waiting. The FBI field office wasn't what most people imagined. No dramatic glass walls. No rows of agents in matching suits, just fluorescent lights, thin carpet, the smell of old coffee and paperwork. The agent who walked in was younger than Cole expected. Maybe 35. Sharp suit. Sharper eyes. Mr. Mason, the agent said, extending a hand. I'm Special Agent Dana Reyes. Cole shook her hand. Thanks for seeing me. My supervisor said you have information about Victor Hale. I do. Cole, hand her the camera. Reyes plugged it into her laptop. Started watching the footage. Her expression didn't change. But Cole saw her jaw tighten when Hale mentioned Sara. When the footage ended, Reyes sat back. This is good, she said. Really good. But it's not enough. Not enough? Cole leaned forward. You've got him on camera making a deal for stolen goods. You've got him talking about targeting a young woman. I've got him talking. That's hearsay. What I need is physical evidence. The ledger your source mentioned. Financial records. Something that ties him directly to the operation in a way that'll hold up in court. So get a warrant. Based on what? Anonymous footage from an unknown source? No judge is going to sign that. Cole leaned forward. Then what do you need? I need someone on the inside. Someone willing to testify. Someone who can get me access to those records. I've got someone, Danny Briggs, one of Hale's enforcers. Rise shook her head. An enforcer with a criminal record isn't going to fly. Defense will tear him apart. I need someone clean, or at least cleaner. Cole thought about it. What if I can get you the ledger? How doesn't matter, Reyes said flatly. Yes, it does. If you obtain evidence illegally, it's inadmissible. Everything built on it gets thrown out. Hale walks. And you go to jail for breaking and entering. Cole stood. So you're saying I can't help? I'm saying you can't help illegally. Then I guess we're done here. Mr. Mason, I'll get you evidence, Cole said, but I'm not going to sit around waiting for bureaucracy while Hale puts more people in the ground. That's not how this works. Maybe not in your world, Cole said, but in mine, you do what needs to be done. He walked out before Reyes could respond. Outside, Hank was waiting by the truck. How'd it go? About as well as expected, Cole muttered. They want more evidence, but won't help us get it. So what's the plan? Cole pulled out his phone, dialed Danny's number. Danny answered on the third ring. Yeah, it's Cole. I need that ledger. Silence. Then, Cole, you can't be serious. Dead serious. FBI won't move without it. That ledger is in Hale's apartment. The man sleeps 10 feet from it. There's no way to get it without him knowing. Then we make sure he's not there. How? Leave that to me. I just need you to tell me exactly where it is and how to get in. A long pause. This is insane, I know. If he catches you, he won't. You keep saying that, because it's true. Another pause, longer this time. Then Danny said, the ledger's in a safe behind a painting in his bedroom. Black canvas, red frame. You can't miss it. Combination? I don't know it. But the safe is old. You could probably crack it if you know what you're doing. I know what I'm doing. There's more. Hale has cameras. Front door. Back door, living room. You'll be on video the second you walk in. Can you disable them? Not without him noticing. But if you trip the breaker, make it look like a power outage, that could work. It'll only give you a few minutes, though. Before he realizes something's wrong. A few minutes is all I need. When's he going to be out? Tomorrow night. He's got a meeting across town. Should be gone from 9 to midnight. That's my window, Cole. Danny's voice dropped. If you get caught, I can't help you. I won't even be able to admit I know you. I'm not asking you to. A long exhale, all right. But after this, we're even. I don't owe you anything. Deal. The next day dragged like molasses. Cole checked and rechecked the plan. Studied the building layout Danny had sent him. Memorized every detail. Sara stayed in the back room of the clubhouse. Quiet. Withdrawn. Cole checked on her around noon. She was sitting on the bed, staring at nothing. You okay? Cole asked. No, Sara said honestly. I keep thinking about what happens if this doesn't work. If Hale gets away. If he comes after me again. He won't. You don't know that. No, Cole admitted. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure it doesn't happen. Sara looked at him. And if you get caught tomorrow, if Hale, then Rex and Hank will finish what I started. That's not reassuring. Cole sat down beside her. Sara, I can't promise you that everything's going to be okay. I can't promise this all works out perfectly, but I can promise you this. He met her eyes. I'm not going to stop fighting until Hale is behind bars, no matter what it takes. Sara was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I've been thinking. About what? About testifying. Cole went still. No. Why not? Because you've been through enough. That's exactly why I should do it. Sara's voice was steady. Certain. Cole, last night at the hospital, when I pushed that cart, I wasn't thinking, I just moved. And it felt, she searched for the word. It felt like me. Like the real me. Not the scared version. Not the version that hides under overpasses and hopes nobody notices. Cole listened. I've been letting Hale decide who I am for 6 months, Sara said. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to decide. She looked at Cole directly. And I'm deciding to testify. Cole studied her for a long moment. This wasn't the girl he'd found on the concrete outside the clubhouse. That girl had gone limp in his arms like someone with nothing left. This was someone different, someone finding their footing. Okay, Cole said slowly. But we do it right. You get a lawyer, a good one, someone who will protect you when things get ugly. Where am I going to find a lawyer? Leave that to me. That night at 8:45, Cole and Hank parked 2 blocks from the apartment building on Fremont Street. Cole wore dark clothes, gloves, a baseball cap pulled low. Hank stayed in the truck, engine running. You've got 10 minutes, Hank said. Any longer, and I'm coming in. 10 minutes, Cole agreed. He walked to the building, keeping his head down. The entrance wasn't locked. Cole took the stairs to the 3rd floor, found unit 314. Hale's door. Cole pulled out the lockpick set, borrowed from Rex, and got to work. 40 seconds later, the lock clicked open. Cole slipped inside, closed the door behind him. The apartment was exactly what he expected. Spartan, functional, no personal touches, cameras in every corner, all dark. The breaker had done its job. Cole moved quickly to the bedroom. The painting was right where Danny said it would be. Black canvas, red frame, an abstract splash of color that looked like dried blood. Cole lifted it off the wall. Behind it, a small safe, built into the wall. Cole pressed his ear against it, started turning the dial. Click. 1 number. Click. 2 numbers. His phone buzzed. Text from Hank. Car just pulled up. Looks like Hale. Cole's heart hammered. He wasn't supposed to be back yet. Cole kept working the dial, hands steady, breathing slow. Click. 3 numbers. He yanked the handle. The safe opened. Inside, a leather-bound ledger, thick with pages. Cole grabbed it, shoved it under his jacket. Then he heard the front door open. Cole froze, footsteps in the living room. Hale's voice, calm, unhurried. Yeah, meeting got cancelled. I'll reschedule for next week. He was on the phone. Cole looked around the bedroom. The window rusted shut. The closet, too small. Under the bed. Only option. Cole dropped to the floor, rolled underneath, just as the bedroom light flicked on. Through the gap between the bed frame and the floor, Cole could see Hale's boots, moving slowly across the room. Hale walked to the dresser, pulled out a pack of cigarettes. Then he stopped, turned, looked at the wall. The painting was still on the floor, where Cole had left it. Hale stared at it for a long moment, then walked over, picked it up, looked at the open safe. "Son of a bitch," Hale said quietly. He pulled out his phone, dialed. "Someone just hit my apartment." "Yeah, the safe. Took the ledger. I want everyone on this now." Cole's mind raced. 30 seconds, maybe less, before Hale checked under the bed. Cole's hand moved to his gun. Then Hale's phone rang again. "What?" Hale snapped. A pause, his expression changed. "Where, when?" Another pause. "I'll be right there." He grabbed his keys, walked out. The front door slammed. Cole waited 10 seconds, then 20. Then he rolled out from under the bed and ran. He hit the stairwell at full speed, took the stairs 4 at a time, burst out into the parking lot. Hank had the truck moving before Cole's door was even closed. "You get it?" Cole pulled the ledger out from under his jacket. "Got it." Hale knows it's missing. He knows. Hank floored it, tires squealing onto Fremont Street. They made it 3 blocks before Cole saw the headlights closing in behind them. "We've got company," Cole said. Hank checked the mirror. "How many?" 2 cars, maybe 3. "Hold on." Hank yanked the wheel hard, cutting through an alley. The headlights followed. He took another turn, then another, weaving through the back streets of downtown Las Vegas. But the cars stayed with them. Then Cole saw the gun. Passenger window of the lead car, muzzle flash lighting up the night. "Get down!" The rear window exploded. Hank swerved, nearly clipping a parked car. Cole pulled his own gun, leaned out the window, fired back. One of the pursuing cars veered off, tires blown out. The other kept coming, more gunfire. A bullet punched through the truck's tailgate. Hank took a hard right, accelerated down a straightaway. Ahead, the entrance to the freeway. "Get on the highway." Hank merged at 80 miles an hour. The pursuing car followed, but now they had room. Hank weaved between traffic, putting cars between them and the shooter. Cole reloaded, aimed carefully, fired 3 times. The pursuing car's windshield shattered. It swerved, hit the median, and spun out. Hank didn't slow down until they were 5 miles clear. "Everyone okay?" Hank asked, breathing hard. "Yeah," Cole said. "We're good." He checked the ledger. "Still intact. We got it," Cole said. Hank grinned despite everything. "Then I'd say that was a success." They drove back to the clubhouse in tense silence. Rex was waiting when they arrived. "I heard," he said flatly as Cole climbed out of the truck. "Gunshots on the freeway." "Hale's guys tried to stop us," Cole said. "Didn't work. You get what you needed." Cole held up the ledger. Rex took it, flipped through the pages slowly. His expression darkened with every entry. "This is everything," Rex said quietly. "Names, amounts, dates going back 6 years." "It's going to the feds," Cole said. "First thing tomorrow. Hale's going to know you took it." "Good." "Cole," Rex's voice hardened. "He's going to come for you. For all of us. Then we'll be ready." Rex studied him for a long moment. "You really think this is going to work?" Cole met his eyes. "It has to." Inside, Sara was still awake, sitting in the common room with a mug of tea. When she saw Cole, she stood. "Did you?" Cole held up the ledger. Sara's eyes went wide. "You actually got it." "Told you I would." She crossed the room, threw her arms around him. Cole stiffened, surprised, then hugged her back. "Thank you," Sara whispered. "For everything. We're not done yet." "I know," she said, "but thank you anyway." The next morning, Cole walked into the FBI field office at 9. Agent Reyes looked up from her desk. Surprised. "Mr. Mason, I didn't expect to see you again." I brought you something. Cole set the ledger on her desk. Reyes stared at it. What is this? Victor Hale's personal ledger. 6 years of transactions, names, amounts, everything. Reyes opened it carefully, started reading. Her expression shifted from skepticism to something harder to name. Where did you get this? Does it matter? Yes, it absolutely matters. Let's just say it came to me through the right channels. Reyes closed the ledger. Mr. Mason, if you obtained this illegally, I didn't break any laws. They held each other's gaze. Finally, Reyes said, if I find out you broke into Hale's apartment, you won't. Another long pause. I'll need to verify this, Reyes said. Cross-reference the entries. Build a case. How long? Realistically, 2 weeks. Maybe 3. We don't have 3 weeks. Then you should have thought about that before you started this. Cole leaned over the desk. Hale tried to kidnap a 19-year-old girl yesterday. He's got a bounty on her head. On my head. Every day you wait is another day he's out there hurting people. Reyes didn't flinch. I understand your frustration. But if I rush this and the case falls apart in court, Hale walks free forever. Is that what you want? Cole wanted to argue. But she was right. Fine, he said. But you better move fast. I will. Cole turned to leave. Mr. Mason, he stopped. I also need witnesses, Reyes said. People Hale has hurt. People willing to testify. The ledger is strong, but a human face makes the difference between a conviction and a mistrial. I'll get you witnesses. Will they actually testify, or are they too scared? Leave that to me. Cole spent the next 2 days tracking down people from the streets. Earl, the homeless veteran. A woman named Maria who'd lost 3 teeth to Hale's enforcers. A young man named Devin who'd watched his friend get beaten unconscious over a stolen phone. One by one, Cole talked to them, and one by one, they said the same thing. I can't testify. He'll kill me. I can't testify. No one will believe me anyway. I can't testify. I've got warrants. The cops see me. I'm going to jail. By the end of the second day, Cole had nothing. He sat in the clubhouse staring at his phone, frustration eating at him. Sara walked in, sat down across from him. You look like you're about to punch something. I might. What's wrong? No one will testify. Everyone's too scared. Sara was quiet for a moment. Then, I'll testify. Cole looked up sharply. No, why not? Because you've been through enough. Cole. Sara's voice was quiet but firm. I already decided this, remember? I told you, I'm not letting Hale decide who I am anymore. Testifying isn't just standing up and telling the truth. Hale's lawyers are going to tear you apart. They're going to question everything. Your past, your choices, why you were on the streets. They're going to make it sound like you deserved what happened to you. Sara held his gaze. Maybe that's exactly why it has to be me. Cole ran a hand through his hair. If you do this, there's no going back. Your name goes on record. Hale will know you testified. His lawyers will know. Everyone will know. Good, Sara said. Let them know. A long silence. Then Cole nodded. Okay, but we do it right. You get a lawyer, a good one. Cole made a call to Angela Cho, a defense attorney who owed him a favor from years back. Angela agreed to meet with Sara the next day. She's young, Angela said after talking with Sara for an hour. But she's stronger than she realizes. Will she hold up in court? If I prep her right? Yes. Then prep her. That night, Cole sat with Danny in the clubhouse kitchen. You should testify too? Cole said. Danny shook his head. No way, I'm a convicted felon. Hale's lawyers will destroy me. Maybe. But your testimony combined with Sara's, two different perspectives, two different stories. It makes the case stronger. Or it makes me a target. You're already a target, Danny laughed. Bitter. Fair point. So what's holding you back? Danny stared at his hands. Fear. Fear that this won't work. Fear that I'll get up there and Hale walks anyway. Fear that I'm throwing my life away for nothing. What if it's not for nothing? What if you're the reason Hale finally goes down? Danny looked up. You really believe that? I have to. A long silence. Then, all right, I'll do it. The next morning, Agent Reyes called. I heard you've got witnesses. 2, both willing to testify. Sara Reeves and Danny Briggs. Reyes was silent for a moment. The girl and one of Hale's enforcers. Yeah, that's risky. Defense is going to argue Briggs is only testifying to save his own skin. Probably. But his testimony matches the ledger. And Sara's testimony establishes a pattern of violence. It could work, Reyes said slowly. Bring them to the field office today. 2 o'clock. I need to talk to them first. Done. At the FBI field office, Reyes interviewed Sara for 2 hours. Cole waited outside, pacing the hallway, Hank beside him. She's going to be okay, Hank said. You don't know that. I know she's tougher than she looks. When the door finally opened, Sara walked out pale but steady. Reyes was behind her, expression unreadable. She's credible, Reyes said. Her story holds up. If she testifies, it'll make an impact. Danny's interview took 3 hours. When he finally emerged, he looked exhausted. How'd it go? Cole asked. She asked me everything. Where I met Hale, how the operation works, how much money we collected, names, dates, everything. Danny paused. And I told her all of it. Reyes stepped out. Mr. Briggs's testimony is solid. Combined with the ledger and Miss Reeves's account, we have enough to move forward. Cole felt something loosen in his chest. So you're arresting him? Not yet. I need to present this to a grand jury first. Get an indictment. How long? About a week. A week? That's fast, Mr. Mason. Most cases like this take months. Cole wanted to argue, but he knew it wouldn't help. 1 week, he said. But if Hale makes a move before then, call me immediately, Reyes said. Don't try to handle it yourself. Cole didn't respond. They both knew he was lying. 5 days later, Reyes called. Grand jury convened this morning. We got the indictment. Warrants been issued. Cole closed his eyes. We're moving on Hale tonight, Reyes continued. Midnight, hitting his apartment, the warehouse, and 3 other locations simultaneously. By morning, Victor Hale will be in federal custody. You sure you'll find him? We've been watching him for 3 days. He's at his apartment right now. He's not going anywhere. What do you need from us? Nothing. Stay put. Stay safe. Let us handle this. A pause. Mr. Mason, I mean it. You've done your part. Now let us do ours. That night, no one slept. They all sat in the common room, watching the clock, waiting. Sara sat in the corner, a book open in her lap that she wasn't reading. Her eyes hadn't moved from the same page in 20 minutes. Danny was in the kitchen, chain smoking. Even though Rex had told him twice to take it outside, Hank watched TV without really watching it. Rex worked on his bike in the garage, taking apart pieces he didn't need to take apart, just to have something to do with his hands. At midnight, Cole's phone buzzed. Text from Reyes. Moving now. At 12:47. Apartment clear. Hale in custody. At 1:15, warehouse secured. 7 arrests. Evidence recovered. At 2 in the morning, it's done. Hale is in federal lockup. He's not getting out. Cole read the message 3 times, then showed it to everyone else. The room erupted. Rex clapped Cole on the shoulder hard enough to stagger him. Hank let out a sound somewhere between a laugh and a war cry. Danny laughed with something like hysteria, head dropping into his hands, and Sara just sat there, tears streaming down her face. Not from fear, not from pain, from something she hadn't felt in so long she'd almost forgotten what it was called. Relief. Cole sat down beside her. "You okay?" "I don't know," she said honestly. "I thought I'd feel different. Relieved maybe. Happy. But I just feel empty," Cole said. She looked at him, surprised. "Yeah, that's normal. You've been running on fear and adrenaline for months. Now that it's over, your body doesn't know what to do with the quiet. Is it really over?" "Yeah," Cole said. "It really is." Sara looked at him for a long moment. "What happens to me now?" "That's up to you. I don't know what I want. You don't have to know right now. You've got time to figure it out." Cole met her eyes. "And until then, you've got people who care about you. You've got a place to stay. You've got options." Sara wiped her eyes. "Thank you, Cole, for everything. You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do," she said quietly, "because without you, I'd be dead." Cole didn't know what to say to that, so he just pulled her into a hug and let her cry. 3 weeks later, the trial date arrived faster than anyone expected. Cole sat in the gallery with Hank and Rex. Sara sat with Angela in the witness section. Danny sat on the other side with his own attorney. When Victor Hale walked in, wearing an orange jumpsuit and restraints, Cole felt Sara tense beside him. Hale's eyes swept the courtroom and landed on Sara. He smiled. The same cold smile Cole had seen at the warehouse. Sara looked away. "You okay?" Cole whispered. Sara took a breath. "I will be." The prosecution's opening statement was devastating. Agent Reyes's colleague, Prosecutor Catherine Valdez, laid out 6 years of systematic abuse. She showed the ledger entries. She described the violence. She connected Hale to dozens of crimes across Las Vegas. "Victor Hale built an empire on fear," Valdez said. "And today, we're going to show you exactly how he did it." The defense's opening was predictable. Hale's attorney, a silver-haired man named Robert Holbrook, painted Hale as a misunderstood businessman. "My client provided protection. He kept the streets safe." These so-called victims were willing participants who now want to play the victim for sympathy. Cole felt his jaw tighten. The first week of trial was technical. Financial experts testified about the ledger. FBI agents described the raid. Forensic accountants traced money flows. Important, but dry. The second week, everything changed. Sara took the stand on Monday morning. She wore a simple blue dress that Angela had helped her pick out. Her hair was pulled back. She looked younger than 19 and older at the same time. Valdez started gently. "Miss Reeves, can you tell the court how you ended up on the streets?" Sara's voice was quiet, but steady. "My parents died in a car accident 2 years ago. I went into foster care. When I turned 18, the system let me go. I didn't have anywhere to turn. I ended up in Las Vegas." "And how did you meet Victor Hale?" "He found me. I was sleeping under an overpass on North Las Vegas Boulevard. He said he could protect me if I paid him." "Did you pay him?" "I tried, but I didn't have anything. So Sara's voice wavered, then steadied. He made an example of me. Can you describe what happened? Sara took a deep breath and told the jury everything. The beating, the threats, the months of fear. The night she finally stopped running and collapsed on a freezing sidewalk with nothing left. Hale sat at the defense table, expressionless. When Valdez finished, Holbrook stood for cross-examination. Miss Reeves, you admit you've run away from multiple foster homes. Is that correct? Yes. And you admit you've stolen food to survive? Yes. So you're admitting. Angela stood. Objection. Argumentative. Sustained, the judge said. Holbrook didn't miss a beat. Miss Reeves, how do we know you're not lying about my client to avoid consequences for your own actions? Sara looked directly at Hale. Then she pulled back her sleeve. The bruises had faded to yellow-green, but they were still there. Because he gave me these, she said. The courtroom went silent. She turned slightly, showing more bruises on her neck. And these, she lifted her pant leg, revealing a deep scar on her calf. Your client did this to me, and he did it to dozens of other people. Her voice didn't waver. I'm not lying, I'm just telling the truth. Holbrook tried to recover, but the damage was done. Danny testified the next day. Nervous at first, stumbling over words. But when Valdez asked him why he decided to cooperate, Danny found his voice. Because I was tired of being afraid. Tired of hurting people. Tired of being someone I hated. He looked at the jury. When someone gave me a chance to do something right, I took it. Holbrook hammered him on his criminal record. You've been arrested 6 times. You've served time for assault. Why should this jury believe anything you say? Because I'm not proud of what I did, Danny said. I'm not trying to pretend I'm a good person. I'm just trying to tell the truth about Victor Hale. Or you're trying to save yourself. Danny met the jury's eyes. Maybe I am, but that doesn't make what I'm saying false. The trial lasted 3 weeks. When both sides rested, the jury deliberated for 2 days. Cole spent those 2 days pacing the clubhouse, unable to eat, unable to focus. On the second day, at 4 p.m, Reyes called. Jury's back. Verdict in 30 minutes. The courtroom was packed. Cole sat between Sara and Rex, holding Sara's hand. The jury filed in. Not one of them looked at Hale. Cole had been told that was a good sign. The judge addressed the jury foreman. Has the jury reached a verdict? We have, Your Honor. On the count of racketeering, how do you find? A breath. The whole room held it. Guilty. Sara squeezed Cole's hand so hard it hurt. On the count of extortion, how do you find? Guilty. On the count of conspiracy to commit assault, guilty. The verdicts kept coming. Guilty. 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 18 counts. 18 guilty verdicts. Hale didn't react, just stared straight ahead. Like a man who had already decided the world owed him something and couldn't understand why it had stopped paying. The judge set sentencing for 6 weeks later. Outside the courthouse, Sara broke down. Not from sadness, from relief so deep it had nowhere else to go. It's over, she kept saying. It's really over. Yeah, Cole said. It's really over. Rex put a hand on Cole's shoulder. Said nothing. Didn't need to. Hank stood with his arms crossed, jaw tight, blinking more than usual. Danny sat on the courthouse steps, head in his hands, shoulders shaking. Cole walked over, sat beside him. You did good, Cole said. Danny looked up, eyes red. I just told the truth. Yeah, Cole said. That's exactly what you did. Agent Reyes approached them on the steps. "I wanted to thank you all," she said quietly. "This wouldn't have happened without your courage." "What happens now?" Danny asked. "Hale will be sentenced in 6 weeks. He's looking at 25 to life. He'll die in prison," Sara said quietly. Reyes nodded. "Most likely, yes." Sara looked out at the Las Vegas skyline, the city that had swallowed her whole, and then spit her back out the other side. "Good," she said. 6 weeks later, the judge sentenced Victor Hale to 40 years in federal prison, without possibility of parole. Hale was 43 years old. He would never see freedom again. The days after Hale's arrest felt surreal. Cole kept expecting something to go wrong, kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, kept checking his phone for a call from Reyes saying Hale had made bail, or the charges had been dropped, or something, anything, had fallen apart at the last minute. But the call never came. Instead, Reyes called on day 3 with an update. "Hale is being held without bail. Federal judge agreed he's a flight risk. Trial set for 4 months from now."
4 months?
That's actually fast for a case this size. We've got multiple counts of racketeering, extortion, conspiracy, assault. The prosecutor wants this airtight. And Sara and Danny, they'll need to testify? Yes. I'll prep them when we get closer. For now, they should try to get back to normal life. Cole almost laughed. What's normal after something like this? That's exactly what they need to figure out, Reyes said quietly. And she was right. Sara spent the first week at the clubhouse barely speaking. She'd sit in the common room for hours, staring at nothing. She'd eat when someone put food in front of her. She'd sleep when exhaustion finally dragged her under. But she wasn't really there. Cole recognized the look. He'd seen it before, in men coming back from places they couldn't talk about. The 1,000-yard stare, the emotional shutdown that happens when your body has been running on terror for so long it doesn't know how to stop. Trauma doesn't end just because the threat is gone. It lingers. It sits in the corners of rooms. It wakes you up at 3 in the morning for no reason at all. On day 8, Cole found Sara in the garage, sitting on the floor beside Rex's bike, knees pulled up to her chest. "You okay?" Cole asked. "I don't know how to be a normal person," Sara said quietly. "I've been running for so long. I don't know how to just stop." Cole sat down beside her on the concrete floor. "Then don't stop," he said. "Just run towards something instead of away from it." Sara looked at him. "Like what?" "I don't know. What did you want before all this happened?" Sara was quiet for a long moment. "I wanted to go to college," she said finally. "Study social work. Help kids like me. Kids who fall through the cracks. Kids the system forgets about the second they turn 18. So do that. I don't have a high school diploma. I don't have money. I don't even have a place to live. You've got this place. Rex already said you can stay as long as you need. I can't live in a biker clubhouse forever." "No," Cole said. "But you can stay here until you figure out your next step, one step at a time." Sara looked at him. "Why are you still doing this?" "Hale is in jail. You don't owe me anything anymore." Cole met her eyes. "I never did it because I owed you. I did it because it was right. Most people don't care about what's right." "Then I guess I'm not most people." Sara smiled. Just slightly, just for a second. "But it was real." "No," she said. "You're definitely not." 2 days later, Angela Cho called. "I pulled some strings," the lawyer said. got Sara enrolled in a GED program at the community center on Decatur Boulevard. She can start next Monday if she's ready. She's ready, Cole said. Are you sure? Because if she's not, she's ready. Angela was quiet for a moment. Cole, I need to ask you something. What? What's your endgame here? After the trial, after Sara gets her GED, what happens to her? That's up to her. Is it? Because right now she's completely dependent on you and the club. What happens when you're not there anymore? The question hit Cole harder than he expected, because Angela was right. He'd been so focused on stopping Hale, on keeping Sara safe, that he hadn't thought about what came after, what it meant to actually build a life, not just survive one. I don't know, Cole admitted. Then you better figure it out. Because that girl looks at you like you hung the moon. And if you disappear on her, it's going to break her. Cole found Sara in the kitchen that evening, making coffee. We need to talk, he said. Sara turned, worry flashing across her face. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I just need to be honest with you about something. She waited. I can't be your guardian, Cole said. I can help you. I can support you. But I can't be the person you rely on for everything. You need to build a life that doesn't depend on me being there. Sara's face went still. Are you leaving? No, I'm not going anywhere, but eventually you're going to move on. You're going to have your own place, your own life, your own story. And when that happens, you need to be strong enough to stand on your own. What if I'm not? You are. You've always been. I don't feel strong. You don't have to feel it, Cole said. You just have to keep moving forward. That's all strength ever is. Just keep moving. Sara was quiet for a long time. Then, will you still be around when I do move on? Yeah, Cole said. I'll still be around. Promise? Promise. Sara started her GED program the following Monday. Cole drove her to the community center on Decatur Boulevard. Walked her to the door. You nervous? He asked. Terrified, Sara said. That's normal. What if everyone judges me? What if they can tell? Then they're idiots, Cole said. And you ignore them and do the work anyway. Sara took a deep breath. Okay. She walked through the doors without looking back. Cole waited in the parking lot for 3 hours. When Sara finally came out, she was crying. Cole's heart sank. He crossed the parking lot in long strides. What happened? Nothing, Sara said, wiping her eyes. It was good. Really good. She laughed through the tears. I just forgot what it felt like. To learn. To have people treat me like I matter. To sit in a room and just exist without being afraid. Cole pulled her into a hug. You do matter. I'm starting to believe that, she said. For the first time in a long time, I'm actually starting to believe that. Over the next month, Sara threw herself into her studies. She'd wake up at 6 in the morning, work through practice tests until noon, take a break, then study again until dinner. Cole had never seen someone so determined, so hungry for something that had nothing to do with survival. This was different. This was a person reaching for something. Danny, meanwhile, was struggling. He'd sit in the clubhouse watching TV, chain smoking, jumping at every unexpected sound. One afternoon, Cole sat down across from him. You need to do something, Cole said. Do what? I'm a convicted felon with no real skills and people out there who'd love to find me. Hale's crew is scattered. Half of them are in custody. The rest are too busy saving themselves to worry about you. You don't know that. Maybe not. but you can't live in fear for the rest of your life. Easy for you to say. It's not easy, Cole said, but it's necessary. Danny stared at the floor. Why do you even care what happens to me? Cole thought about that for a moment. Because you helped us when you didn't have to. When you were scared, and you had every reason to stay quiet, you didn't. That matters. Doesn't change what I've done. No, but it's a start. Cole leaned forward. What are you good at, really good at? Danny shrugged. Hurting people, making bad decisions. Besides that, a long pause. I used to work on cars, Danny said quietly, before everything went sideways. My uncle had a garage. I worked there summers all through high school. I was good at it. Then do that. Who's going to hire an ex-con? I know a guy who runs a garage on Lucy Road. He doesn't ask questions. He just needs people who know their way around an engine. Danny looked up. You serious? Yeah, I'll make a call. You show up. You work hard. You keep your head down. What if I screw it up? Then you try again. 3 days later, Danny started working at Mike's Auto Repair on Lucy Road. He came back to the clubhouse that first night covered in grease, exhausted, smelling like motor oil and honest work, and smiling, for the first time in as long as Cole could remember. Danny Briggs was actually smiling. How'd it go? Cole asked. Good, Danny said. Really good. Mike's tough, but he's fair. And working with my hands again. He shook his head. Like he was trying to find words for something that didn't quite have them. I forgot how it feels, he said finally, to build something instead of breaking it. Told you. Yeah. Danny looked at Cole. You did. The trial came and went. 18 guilty verdicts. 40 years in federal prison. Victor Hale, the man who had terrorized the streets of Las Vegas for 6 years, was gone. Not dead, but gone. Which meant Sara Reeves could finally start living. After the sentencing, Cole took Sara to dinner. Not at the clubhouse, not at some dive bar on Fremont Street. A real restaurant. Tablecloths, menace, candles on the table, waiters who didn't know anything about what they'd been through. Sara looked around the dining room like she'd landed on a different planet. This is weird, she said. What is? Sitting here, like a normal person, having a normal meal, not looking over my shoulder every 30 seconds. You better get used to it. I don't know if I can. You will, Cole said. Give it time. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Sara said, I got my GED results back. Cole looked up. I passed, she said, top of my class. Cole felt something swell in his chest, warm and quiet and real. Sara, that's incredible. I'm enrolling at College of Southern Nevada in the fall, social work program. That's what you wanted. Yeah, she smiled. And I got a scholarship. Full ride. Angela helped me apply. Said my story would resonate. Did it? I guess it did. Cole raised his glass to new beginnings. Sara clinked her glass against his to second chances. Now here's something worth thinking about, because this story, it's not just about a biker and a girl and a criminal who finally got what he deserved. It's about something deeper than that. Victor Hale was able to do what he did for 6 years because of silence. Not because people didn't know. They knew. Not because people didn't care. Some of them cared deeply, but because the people who'd been hurt, the people sleeping under overpasses, the people who'd aged out of foster care with nothing, the people the system had quietly given up on. They believed that nobody was coming for them. They believed that their lives didn't matter enough to fight for. And that belief, that quiet, devastating belief, is what men like Hale depend on. Cole Mason didn't change that by being extraordinary. He changed it by doing something very simple. He stopped. He heard a sound that didn't fit, and instead of deciding it wasn't his problem, he stopped. That's the whole thing. That's the entire story. One person, one decision. One moment of choosing to see someone that the world had decided not to see. And everything changed. 3 months later, Cole stood in the parking lot of College of Southern Nevada, helping Sara move into the dorms. 2 suitcases, a backpack, and a look in her eyes that Cole hadn't seen the night he found her on the concrete outside the clubhouse. Possibility. "You going to be okay?" Cole asked. "I think so," Sara said. "It's scary though. What is starting over? Being normal, not having you there every day." "I'm just a phone call away." "I know, but it's different." "Different doesn't mean bad." Sara hugged him tight. The kind of hug that says everything that words can't quite reach. "Thank you, Cole, for everything." "You don't have to thank me." "Yes, I do. You saved my life." "No," Cole said gently. "You saved your own life. I just gave you a chance to do it." Sara pulled back, wiped her eyes. "Will you come visit?" "Try and stop me." She smiled through the tears, picked up her suitcases, took one step toward the dorm entrance, then stopped, turned back. "Cole, yeah, I'm going to be okay." He looked at her, really looked at her. The girl who had collapsed on frozen concrete with nothing left, who had whispered her name like it was the last thing she had to give. "I know," Cole said. "I just wanted to say it out loud." "Say it again." Sara laughed. "I'm going to be okay." "Yeah," Cole said. "You are." He watched her walk through the doors, not looking back this time. Just forward. 2 years later, Cole got a letter, college-lined paper, careful handwriting, the kind of handwriting that meant someone had taken their time. "Dear Cole, I'm writing to tell you that I'm graduating next week. Top of my class. I've been accepted to UNLV's master's program in social work. I'm going to do exactly what I said I would, help kids like me. Kids who think they don't matter. Kids who need someone to believe in them before they can believe in themselves. I wanted you to be at my graduation. Not just because you helped me get here, but because you showed me something I'd forgotten. You showed me that one person who chooses to stop, who chooses to see, who chooses to care, can change everything. You changed my life, Cole, and now I'm going to spend the rest of my life-changing lives too. Thank you for never giving up on me. Love, Sara. Cole sat in the clubhouse and read that letter 3 times. Rex walked by, saw the paper in his hand. "Good news?" "Yeah," Cole said. "Really good news." "What is it?" Cole looked up. "Proof," he said, "that sometimes doing the right thing actually works out." Rex smiled, slow and quiet. "Took you long enough to figure that out." Cole went to Sara's graduation. He sat in the audience wearing his leather cut, feeling out of place among the families in their Sunday best, wondering more than once if he should have dressed differently, if he looked like someone who didn't belong there. Then Sara's name was called, and she walked across that stage, and Cole stood up, and he cheered louder than anyone in that entire auditorium. Sara found him afterward, diploma in her hand, eyes bright. "You came." "Of course I came. I wasn't sure you would." "I promised, didn't I?" Sara pulled back, looked at him with eyes that no longer carried the weight of what she'd survived, just the light of what she was becoming. I did it, Cole, she said. I actually did it. Cole shook his head. You're just getting started. And he was right. Because Sara Reeves didn't just survive, she rebuilt. She became exactly who she said she would be, a social worker, a voice for the people the system forgets, a champion for the ones who need someone to believe in them before they can believe in themselves. She became living proof that the worst moment of your life doesn't have to define the rest of it. And Cole Mason, the quiet biker who stopped on a freezing night because a sound didn't fit, never took credit for any of it. Because to him, it was simple. He saw someone who needed help, and he chose to stop. That's all. Just that. And sometimes, that's everything. So here's what I want to leave you with. You don't have to be extraordinary to change someone's life. You don't need a plan. You don't need resources. You don't need to be the right kind of person or come from the right kind of place. You just need to stop. When something doesn't fit, stop. When someone is invisible to everyone around them, stop. When the world keeps moving and your instinct says wait, stop. Because somewhere out there, right now, there is a Sara Reeves, sitting in the cold, wondering if anyone is going to come. Be the person who comes. That's the whole lesson. That's the whole story. If this one moved you, share it. Because stories like this one deserve to travel. And drop a comment below. Tell me what this story meant to you. I read every single one. See you in the next one.